When does mortgage forbearance end? Make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video as we talk about mortgage forbearance, when it ends, and some potential options that you might have available going forward in the future. For those of you that don't know what mortgage forbearance is, last year when COVID started, a lot of banks came out and allowed what's called a mortgage forbearance, which is essentially a temporary pause on your mortgage payments. Now that period could have lasted anywhere from 3 months to 6 months, or even some people have gotten as long as 1 year without having to make their mortgage payment. Now, banks were a lot smarter this time around. And if you rewind the tape, go back to 2007 and 2008, banks weren't willing to really work with homeowners back then. If you couldn't make your mortgage payment, they were willing to take the house back. But this time around, they were very proactive, reached out to the consumers and said, look, if you couldn't make your mortgage payment and if you were affected by COVID, the amount of time that you had to pause those payments varied from servicer, it varied on the type of loan that you had. So I've heard stories anywhere from 3 months up to a year. Now, going forward, as we reach the June 30th date, because if you still haven't reached out to your lender, if you're having a hard time, you have until the end of this month in June to be able to reach out and still seek some help with a mortgage forbearance. Maybe you're getting towards the tail end of the forbearance period. Here's some options and some things that you have to consider. One, can you start making your payments? Now, I know a lot of people that went into forbearance actually still made their payments. And there's a lot of statistics behind this as well, is that they kind of use it as like a lifeline. You had the money, you could still make the payment. Some guys even still did. However, they just wanted the flexibility, knowing that if I couldn't make the payment, I still had the ability to not do so and not have it affect my credit. And for those of you that are getting to the tail end of your forbearance period and you still can't make those payments, make sure that you're being proactive and reaching out to your lender and asking for that extension. Remember, you're not the only one that's hurting out there or in a bad position. So don't wait to the last minute to reach out to your lender and get some help. These servicers are busy. They probably won't get back to you as fast as you'd like. So make sure that you get to them as soon as possible, so that way you can try to protect your credit as best as you can going forward. Now, for those of you where your mortgage forbearance is about to end, there's a few options that you have to keep in mind in order to move forward with your current mortgage. First option is you can pay a lump sum. All the payments that were paused throughout your entire forbearance period, you can write a check, catch up on your mortgage, and get current again. That's option number one. That's probably gonna be hard to come by for a lot of people, because obviously if you've been out of work and you're not making as much money as you were, you probably went through your savings and you're not gonna have a ton of money saved in order to catch up on all of your payments. Option number two, you take all the amount that was paused on your mortgage forbearance and you can spread that over a 3, 6, 12-month period. And now you have a slightly increased mortgage, but you do get caught up on the principal balance that you have then deferred while you aren't making your mortgage payments. Number three, you can lengthen your loan term. Instead of a 30-year loan, maybe your servicer is going to be extending your loan another 2, 3, 5 years, depending on what you can negotiate with them to then get you caught up on all your mortgage payments. Number four, a payment deferral. Maybe the bank won't ask you for all of your funds right now. Instead, when you sell your property or refinance, they may then want to collect those funds at that given time. And number five, you might want to do a loan modification. Let's just say you went through the forbearance period, you still can't make those payments, your income has declined, and you really need some help from the bank. You may want to seek out a loan modification to where now your lender is going to modify your payment, your terms, just so that way you can get caught up and start making payments again. All of these options are available to you, but again, like I said, each servicer is gonna have a different way as to how they're gonna handle the forbearance. Every borrower is gonna have a different scenario, a different hardship. So no two scenarios are gonna be alike. So if you're talking to your friend or your family member and you heard that they got a forbearance and whatever their terms were, don't automatically assume that that's what you're gonna get. You have to be proactive and reach out to your lender and just be honest. Let them know what you need help with, how you've been impacted, and you have to go through the process, whatever paperwork or documentation that they're gonna ask you to provide in order to come to that final determination as to how they can help you. But I will say that I've talked to a number of our clients that have gone through this process and they actually have had help from the banks. So it is a good sign to see that the banks this time around are a lot more willing to help out homeowners versus like the crash back in 2007 and 8, where they were just willing to take back those homes and get them on the market and sell them. Now, for those of you that have been able to go through the forbearance period, you're back to work, and you still have a high interest rate, you can refinance after the forbearance period. You just have to make at least 3 mortgage payments in order to show your lender for them to qualify you for your mortgage. So there's still opportunities for you out there to take advantage of the low interest rates, because I still see a lot of people that have gone through forbearance that are sitting at a 4.5% or a 5% interest rate, that they haven't taken advantage of the low rates today. So if you've gone through forbearance and you're starting to make your payments, remember, you still can refinance. So don't forget, there's a lot of options that are out there. And if you're stuck, you're not sure where to go, call your servicer. Don't wait till the last minute. Make sure that you're being proactive about this entire situation, because at the end of the day, remember, we gotta protect your credit, because once your credit goes, everything else follows. And I hate to see people go from having amazing credit to 400, 500 credit score just because they simply didn't know where to go. And if you guys have questions and you don't know where to go, you can always send me an email. I'd be happy to help you and see what we can do to at least get you back on your feet and give you some information, so that way you can either refinance or you're a little more educated with what your options are to preserve your house and not let it go into foreclosure. So if you have questions, remember, send me an email. I'll be happy to help you guys. Comment below if you got any specific questions. And as always, I'll see you on the next video.